To always feel like shit early in the morning, even though I was exercising. I did some productive things. I always thought to myself, why can't I change, bro? Can I be consistent with what I do? I'm more productive than most people. I have a burning passion to be a basketball player. Why would I feel terrible and have thoughts to literally kill myself? And one day I came across a self-improvement video. It changed everything for me. It's when I realized that I have changed considerably. If you compare me to before, I was literally a degenerate. I was addicted to porn in the ninth grade. I didn't even exercise, overestimated myself. This realization, the most important change you need to make to improve yourself. It's not only going to the gym and, quitting all the bad habits. They're very important, but this right here is the most important one. Make sure you watch the entire video. The first is changing our beliefs. Our beliefs are the result of our personal interpretations of past experiences that have been repeated with emotion, which means that reality could be so much better, if we just became more optimistic and broke these beliefs down and analyze their thoughts. How do we do that? Well, come on, bro. Obviously, we stop watching media. That's easily the first one. Stop watching media. Because the media portrays so many dumb beliefs onto it. How we should behave, how we should dress, what's considered to be a wealth, and what's considered to be okay. All the time, media it's negative, especially watching news, always negative. And the media just degenerate half the time. If you spend that time with family or friends or working on purpose, bro. Like spend less time with your grumpy ass uncle. So your time is just spent with negative people. You'll become more like them. I mean, you're gonna think more negatively and criticize things that don't matter or just not as happy. But the most important thing you need to start doing is using positive affirmations. Ever since I was a kid, these teachers, every single teacher I had, from kindergarten all the way to grade 11, told me I was shy. All the kids in my class told me I was shy. And I honestly started to believe it. So now that this is thought and there's emotion to it, it became a belief. And since it was a belief now, my mind is looking for instances where this belief is true. And if it is, the belief comes stronger. Your mind's a piece of shit. And although sometimes I honestly remember I was actually confident, I never remembered it. I always remember the time I was shy and anxious because I'm under belief I'm a very shy guy that these people have put onto me, bro. And the crazy thing is, as soon as I step outside of school, I'm way more confident. I'm not as shy. I'm not as anxious as soon as I step outside of school. See, this conditioning they put onto us, bro. But they tell you to use positive affirmation when you feel a negative feeling, which does not work. I'm going to tell you right here, it does not work. I tried it so many times. I told myself I'm confident when I feel anxious. It just makes it worse. The best thing to do is just use these positive affirmations when there's like almost no resistance. So as soon as you wake up, you say the positive affirmations and before you go to sleep. For example, I say, I'm confident. Okay, where have you actually been confident? Because we have to confirm this affirmation, right? You can't just say, if we confirm it, it becomes stronger and it's going to become a belief. So say this when there's no resistance. So in the morning, don't say it when you feel anxious or anything. So I can say, I'm very disciplined, I'm so disciplined. As soon as I wake up, I provide information that supports it. Okay. Yesterday I took a cold shower and I cleaned my room. I didn't feel like doing it. So now we know when to use positive affirmations. But what do you do when you get these negative thoughts? Because we just learned, you're not doing that. You're not using positive affirmations. You're not doing that. You have to accept the thought in the moment. Don't resist it. Accept it and observe how you feel. say you feel like very anxious right now. You accept you're feeling anxious. Right? You can say, "Oh, I'm getting this feeling of anxiety." You almost kind of laugh at it, like it's a joke. Once you have accepted it, let's say you're feeling pretty sad right now. You can't convince yourself and say, "Oh, I'm happy, I'm happy." It's not gonna work. You have to accept you feel sad. Like it's a kind of laugh. Maybe you can't laugh, but just accept that you do feel this feeling. Accept. Let's say you get the urge to watch porn, which is a lot of men do, right? And you keep telling yourself, "No, I'm not watching porn today. Please, no, please, no." You're resisting this, and usually when you tell yourself, you're probably gonna end up vaping. It's always happened to me. I'd always tell myself, "No, I'm not watching today." When I actually get the urge to, I end up watching. So that's the thing we can do. We can reframe a situation more positive, because a lot of the times a situation is negative nor positive. It's how we label it. It's our interpretation of the situation, right? So if you just got rejected by a girl, a lot of the time you think it's actually a negative thing. But what if it's actually a good thing? You ask yourself, what can I do about it? Or I can approach another girl. What did I learn from the situation? Perhaps me and the girl weren't compatible. It would have just been a waste of time, complete waste of time. Or I need to improve myself further. Honestly, I remember 20 years from now? No, I'm going to be married 20 years from now. I'm going to have kids. And once you accept it, that this thing has happened, perhaps this was a blessing in disguise, right? Perhaps this girl is degenerate, smoked weed and did drugs or some shit, or she had some bad mental health issues that would just weighed me down, It could have been a blessing in disguise. I actually believe that things that don't go away happen for a good reason. Because for me, for a long time, I didn't know how to attract girls. I came across some decent looking girls and I didn't know how to attract them. And I always beat myself up, man, why didn't I attract this girl, bro? Fucking trash. And at times when I'm doing work, I just get the stupid thought. It just messes my flow of work completely. But now I'm starting to realize I've applied this principle myself. I'm starting to realize that the girls back then weren't that good. They're kind of degenerate and just hanging around a lot of guys. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. I didn't want to attract them. Because I probably would have wasted my time. Which is not something I want to do. Do you understand that? It's a very powerful thing you started doing. You should remember that no situation should make you feel miserable. Because you are in control of your mind. You label these situations as negative or positive. So this is the last point. Change your subconscious mind. You need to repeat good beliefs about yourself, like I said before. So if you get this thought, oh, you want smart, okay, accept this thought. And at times when there's little resistance, you come up with reasons why you actually are smart. But you demonstrated nerdy smarts. And you repeat this to yourself every day, because a belief is created by repetition from a thought, and then there's emotion. So it's repetition and emotion. And make sure that you confirm this affirmation. So our thoughts aren't us. Our thoughts are thoughts, which means that we should never associate ourselves with our thoughts. We are literally separate from our thoughts. So if you ever get this feeling that, if you get this thought though, I'm not disciplined, you're not the thought. If you tell yourself you're not disciplined, it's going to become a belief. It's going to become attached to your identity. You get fucked up. So instead, what you should do is be separate from your thoughts. So this could look like, instead of telling myself I'm not a disciplined person, right? I'm going to tell myself I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell myself today wasn't a very disciplined day. Today was not a disciplined day at all. I don't associate myself with a thought. It's clearly separate from me. It's something upon you to understand. Because I used to be a victim of this myself. I used to always associate a thought myself, call myself a loser. And I accept that thought. Now it's the complete opposite. To separate the thought from yourself, so you don't identify as the thought. So how do you like one thing I could recommend doing mindful meditation. After this video, just search mindful meditation. Or when you're doing an activity, any chore, anything, bro, be mindful. Because those are the times where our mind is rambling nonsense that we don't even know what it's talking about. It's talking bullshit. My mind's a piece of shit. It's just rambling on, man. Pay attention to your thoughts right there. Like throughout the day. So why am I doing this? Well, I want to create a movement so big that these porn and drug companies, mainly porn, they're running out of business because we have so many men on self-improvement. But if you feel that self-improvement so far, it's not your fault. The media talks so much bullshit, it can be quite confusing. I do believe you do follow this advice. This will help you tremendously. That's why I'm here. I want to help you improve your life, get you on self-improvement, so you can join this movement and fight off these damn porn companies. Only we can see the light.